And that's exactly how you need it to play out every single night. The Sixers dropped the 40th loss of the season for the Philadelphia 76ers. A close game through 3 quarters. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves turned it up a little bit in the fourth and wound up defeating the Philadelphia 76ers 126-112. Sixers now 21-40 on the campaign. Quentin Grimes with another good night. And we get to talk about it with you here on the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show, presented by Bet365. Welcome, Derek Bodner, Kyle Newbeck. I'm Devon Givens. Bree with us, as always. You hanging out in the chat. Let's talk some things. We'll give you the Tank Watch update a little bit later.
Cody Walter, are you
Got a little excited here in the office
Derek
here tonight.
might have yelped.
Yes, he did.
It legitimately might have been the most excited I've been all season.
We'll get to that a little bit later. We'll give you the player of the game because, again, there was some good things coming out of this one. The good thing is that they lost, but you saw some good play from some players there tonight. We'll talk about that, of course, and get to a few things along the way here tonight during the postgame show. We'll also give you our ACE update a little bit later for the ACE Hardware Home Services Temperature Check. We debuted it last night. We have one for you tonight as well. So we'll do that in the second segment somewhere along the way. But Kyle, tonight, for the first 3 quarters, we're sitting there. Minnesota goes up double digits, around 12. You get Anthony Edwards with an injury to his hand. Some turnovers happening. Mike Conley throwing the ball away. Sixers showing up on the other end, on the offensive end. Quentin Grimes making shots. Kelly Oubre doing some really good things. And in the fourth quarter, man, they calmed us down a little bit as we watched that one finally come to an end where they get the L. We say it all the time. Show us some good things, get some good positive stuff out of it. But in the end, for the greater good of the season and beyond, they needed to lose, and that's exactly what they did.
I'm going to hit you with some developing news, by the way.
Developing
out of Minnesota.
news.
Nick Nurse asked about Paul George's groin injury. Quote, "We're certainly concerned."
Are you really? That's why he played tonight, right?
Brady, you still have that John Taffer image that I sent you earlier? Shut it down, baby. Shut it down. So, yeah, if we're focusing on the game tonight.
Groin injury, 29 minutes and 38 seconds, though, before shutting him down in the fourth quarter.
And I'll circle back to what we said in the pregame about Tyrese Maxey, right? Like, we can see when Tyrese has been on the floor, he can't be anywhere near as effective as he should be, right? Like, he is not the Tyrese Maxey that we know. Not the Tyrese Maxey we knew a few weeks ago, right? Before he was dealing with this finger/hand issue. And that's a big part of why we're advocating for just either shut him down or at least rule him out for a little bit, let him get right. If you absolutely can't convince him to sit entirely, okay. But like with Paul George, we've seen him struggling pretty bad, right? And that's just with the finger. Now he's got the groin issue. He goes out there tonight. He plays those 29 minutes, and it's the same impotent, ineffective, just all I do is shoot jumpers. Now, he had one nice drive to the basket, got to the rim and scored. But, like, by and large, it's a guy whose body is showing/telling you he doesn't have more to give. And so it feels like this is all pretext to we're going to get the press release or we'll show up to practice. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, Paul's done for the year. He needs XYZ fake procedure, or we're going to do this for his hand, or just needs time off and whatever. But like to get that sort of quote from Nurse after the game, and I don't believe we saw Paul the entire fourth quarter of that game as the Wolves pulled away and went on that big shooting barrage in the fourth quarter. What's the point? What is the reason to have him out there?
We said this in the beginning of before the game in the pregame show. Same thing with Maxey. Same thing with Paul George. What is the point? You are 21-40 right now. So you want to walk into a play-in tournament with a record like that? Now it's gonna look different after game 82. But how much
walking
different?
in would be an upgrade over
limping in?
They're doing the reverse Shawshank Redemption. This is Andy Dufresne in the pipe with all the crap
Yes.
going into jail. That's what they're doing.
They're
right
winning
now. They're
one-
breaking into the jail.
They have almost a 33% winning percentage, and they're talking about the play-in. This is absurd.
Yes. I'm sorry. That was just more of
No,
like,
no,
come
no.
on.
You're
You know,
good.
yeah, you're limping in. That's what you want, a record of 34 and, you know, come on, man.
Paul George crawling through the diarrhea sewer under Shawshank prison right now. Like, what is the point of all this? Honestly, at least in Maxey's case, while I think he's a even higher priority to like make sure he's right, make sure he doesn't make a problem worse or like mess with his jumper, blah, blah, blah. At least you can try to justify it as he's getting reps as the lead guy, right? Like he can continue getting that, leading the team and going through that learning process. I know he's gotten tons of those reps up to this point because all the second half of last season, most of this year, he's gotten all that. But like you could convince me, hey, it's good for him in some way to learn how to deal with traps and doubles the way he has been, to work on the mid-range jumper, to continue working on his defense, blah, 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 blah. What is Paul George learning at age 34 in a lost season like this? Nothing. He's learning that it's not that fun to lose 40 games when you only win 21. Like, shut the whole thing down.
This is from Casey Johnson. The Bulls have gone 2-9 in the last 11 games and have extended their lead on the 10th spot.
It's unbelievable, man. What a disaster of a season.
And that's just not the Sixers. That's the Nets. That's every other team. Like their lead is bigger now than it was 11 games ago.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, again, just it's the same thing because once we do see Maxey come back and try to give it a go against Boston, they're just going to get their heads beat in this game. It's not going to be any fun for him. It's not going to be fun for any of those guys except for the ones that are trying to, Jeff Doughton trying to stick around, Ricky Council trying to remain on the team going forward, getting some really good minutes for Adem Bona, stuff like that. But to have, most importantly, Tyrese Maxey out there playing these games, as I said earlier, he has absolutely zero to prove to the organization, to the coaching staff, to his teammates, and to this fan base at this stage of his career. We know how hard he works. 1% better every day. He's an all-star, all-NBA level player already at the age of 24. There's nothing that he can do for the remainder of the season that's going to make me like him even more than I already do as a player and a person. We already know how good he is and what he does. This is, again, as Nona said, Devon, Knicks lost, the Knicks lost too because everybody handles it different. She'll be petty. I love Nona. It's okay. Derek and Kyle will tell you, I didn't like the rebuild. This is different. This is one season of you see where they are right now, and it's not just singling Nona out, of course, it's just pointing out the conversation. It's one season of an opportunity for them to take advantage of something that could work out in their favor after a disastrous season that none of us saw coming. There's this shining little light there at the end that they got to wait and make us all sweat for 30 days as the season comes to an end to hopefully win, to keep that top 6 pick.
Well,
but
then you got to sweat another month.
then you got to
until
sweat
the
another
lottery
month.
comes around.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. The 30 days for the lottery from April 13th or April 12th to the 13th of May to get that call that night. It's just for this 1 year. It's almost like when they were, again, the playoff team. They get that top 10 pick. They keep it. They draft Kale. They ultimately trade it. But it was the whole point of, hey, you got the number 10 pick that you're going to add to this roster already as we are establishing ourselves as one of the best young teams in the NBA. You get lucky sometimes with some of those things. And that's all we're pointing out. This one is a waste of a season. It's already done. Getting into the play-in is going to prove absolutely nothing except for, as Derek pointed out, if they do find a way to get into the 8th seed or the 7th seed and somehow get into a spot where they can get 2 home games and help out Josh Harris's pocketbook for the 2 playoff games.
Get him some helicopter fuel.
Yeah, get him some helicopter fuel. I don't care about that, and none of you should care about that.
No.
This is different. This is why we're talking about this. This is why the tank watch is real. This is why we're asking for Paul George and Tyrese Maxey to sit down. This is why we asked for Joel Embiid, who was clearly not himself weeks ago. All right, it's time to shut him down. And that's why. It's just for the greater good of what they need to do going forward. And they have a really, really good opportunity to get a young player potentially if they keep that top 6 protected pick and grab one of those players or do whatever they do with the pick if they decide to trade it. But it's just different right now. And that's why. And that's why we don't want to see Paul George any longer dealing with a groin and a finger, and you keep running him out there and let him play 30 minutes tonight. And then Tyrese Maxey is going to play against Boston. They're going to get thumped against the Boston Celtics on Thursday night, and it's not going to prove anything at all.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a thing that has happened pretty regularly over the course of NBA history. Good teams, by the way. The Spurs, the most notable example, getting Tim Duncan that year, didn't really kill their culture, not that I could see at least. Seemed like it was pretty okay. The Warriors tanked for Harrison Barnes a little while back. They seem to go on and have a little bit of success after that. This has happened before. It's not really a moral, ethical kind of thing. You're not giving up anything by hoping that they lose over the last 21 games. You're not giving up a run of the season. Like, you're not going to have a playoff run. You're not giving up any players. You're not changing the course of the franchise to, sell off assets. You're not giving up Evan Turner and Spencer Hawes and Thaddeus Young. I know there's a lot of hand-wringing about that a decade ago.
I hated it.
You're not even giving those kinds of players up. You're literally, you acquired players at the deadline, and a pretty good one who I'm sure we'll get to in this next segment. You actually added talent to the team at deadline, and you still just stink. This isn't, there's no opportunity lost here.
Yeah. So more on the subject of the game tonight. This team can't shoot, which is really fun, right? Like, as the league has increasingly gone toward, spacing and playing with pace, the Sixers are bad at shooting. They're bad at defending in transition. They also have been, especially when you consider that it's been Maxey's team most of the year, their pace also isn't that great. Like,
they're bad at rebounding.
They don't run enough off of the turnovers that their whole defense is geared around, let's try to create turnovers and get out and run and whatever. So they concede a lot of open threes. They give up those open threes, but they don't actually really get much of the benefit of causing the turnovers and increasing the pace and doing that. So, like, it just, everywhere you look, it's just misery and pain and suffering. And now I should say, and we'll get to Quentin Grimes, there have been some nice stories, and there are some guys that, as they get healthy next year and as they actually build a team that might work, hopefully, this offseason and get everybody back, there are some nice silver linings and things you want to see. But also, then you look at, Paul George, 7 points, 3 for 11, and just ineffective. And also he's hurt. And also you're running him into the ground for no real reason. And Andre Drummond, after having his best game of the year, completely unplayable because Naz Reid just pick and popped him to death the whole game. And when he wasn't getting pick and popped to death and letting Reid take wide open threes, he's having to play in space against guys like Anthony Edwards and maybe not other players of that caliber, but other drivers are coming at him. And it's just a lot of lazy slap downs at the ball. Like, just a bad watch, man. A bad watch. There are a lot of bad watches out there in the world tonight, and this certainly is up there.
and absolutely too. You can see it in Minnesota also. While Anthony Edwards was dealing with that hand injury early that he suffered, but you can kind of see it. They seemed like they were bored with this game until they turned it up in the fourth quarter.
Same. The
way that they did. Derek was bored.
Hey, listen, we're presented by Bet365, but this podcast is really brought to you by the Sour Patch Kids. They gave me enough of a sugar high to stay awake for the game and awake for this podcast and to talk with you guys. So shout out to, I don't even know who makes Sour Patch Kids, but
I don't know either. Yeah.
Shout out to them, whoever they are.
Them. Yeah, shout out to them. But yeah, man, this one was a tough watch. And if we think this one was a tough watch, wait till again 7:30 on Thursday night when they take on the Boston Celtics, because that's going to be one where they never seem to lay down against the Sixers. They always turn it up and make sure that one's not even close whatsoever for the Sixers in those particular games. So yeah, just a tough watch. This team tonight, they did shoot 49% as we talk about. They can't shoot, but they can't shoot because they go 9 for 32 from the 3-point line at 28% tonight. 28%.
One of the funniest things, and I made a comment about it to you guys during the game, was I think it was one of the fourth quarter stoppages where they go back to the studio at NBC and they talk for like 15 to 20 seconds. And Jim Lynam was like, they're shooting 25% from three, Probably. It was so bad that like he knew the number was bad, but wasn't like, I'm gonna look and see what the exact number is. Like, yeah, it's probably like 25%. Like, that's the general dismissiveness watching this team right now. It's like they suck, but also I don't even really care to tell you exactly how much they suck.
Getting back to the most important topic of tonight, Kraft Foods owns Sour
Kraft
Patch Kids.
Foods owns.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
no free promo. I don't know, and I don't know
Or
what
enough
they're.
free promo. Yeah, for them. Yeah, enough.
Sour Patch Kids are good.
Yeah, they're really good. So, just a tough shooting night. Minnesota really got it going there in the fourth quarter, and the defense just not good enough. They made some stops. They forced 19 turnovers for the Minnesota Timberwolves, converting 21 points off of those turns, but just not enough. Again, for them, they hung in there, and this is probably what the theme is going to be for the remainder of the season, where they will show enough fight in certain games as they go along. But talent-wise, it's not enough there for them to compete against some of these other teams, and ultimately they're going to lose the game. It's not going to take away who you are as a fan because you look at them a little bit differently for this particular season. It's just the way it has played out. So don't beat yourself up. I saw Philly Love said it's too negative tonight. I'm out. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Apologize. It's just what the team is right now. And we have 21 games remaining. It's a tough watch. We're watching. We come here to talk with you and get together and talk it all out, give our thoughts, give our feelings on what we saw. We're going to get to some positive things here, talk about Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre, and some of the others.
And you said, Devon, like, it's not a team that gave up tonight, right? Like, that was for 3 quarters. It's a close game. They're down 3 points going into the fourth. But we've seen this version of a Sixers team before. We've seen this version of a lot of rebuild, retool, lost season type of years where you can fight and you can hang in there and give yourselves a chance. And we'll talk about the positives from the game. But at the end of the day, you're just going to get out-talented, right? Like, you're just going to get outplayed in the end, and you can do whatever you can for the first 2.5 quarters of the game. It just isn't going to matter.
Especially when one of the results in this, when that comes out first, it was Tyrese Maxey yesterday leaving the game early because of an injury. Paul George did not play in the fourth quarter. You could say it was because of the pace or because of his poor shooting. It seemed like he was healthy enough to play 30 minutes. Didn't seem that he did anything to tweak or find another injury, a different part of his body tonight. He did not play in the fourth quarter. So when you're $200 million free agent does not play in the fourth quarter of a game that's only a 3-point difference after 3, that's a storyline. And then you followed it up by giving us the quote from Nick Nurse tonight saying that, that might be a problem. That's a storyline that you have to talk about. And when he sits, if he does sit for a while, he played through the pinky. We made fun of him, sure, but he did fight through it. And now he tried to play through the groin injury. It did not work out, and they're probably going to have to look to sitting him down for a portion of these final 21, which will ultimately result in the rest of the season, we'd imagine. And that's just, again, where the season has gone. So in seasons like this, you get storylines, and this is one of the storylines that's playing out right in front of us as the season is coming to an end.
Yeah. No, and look, it is, when you have Embiid out, Maxey out, Paul George 3 for 7, and McCain out. Like, we used to joke, that's the big 4. Kind of is. You're going to get out-talented. I agree with everything you said. The effort was fine. Forcing 19 turnovers. Quentin Grimes, a huge part of that. We will get to him. They gave the requisite effort. They just don't have the skill level. When you combine that with the being on the wrong end of a shooting variance night and on the tail end of a back-to-back, that's sort of what made yesterday's game so depressing, is that they were the one who should have been rested. They were the ones that were in the second half. You expected them to be able to pull away because they were the rested team and not on the back-to-back. This was understandable. And quite frankly, this was the result that most people in this chat and listening to this show right now were rooting for. You got a good effort from the one guy on the floor that really mattered in Grimes. You got the result that you wanted. And now you just have to live with the fact there's still 21 more of these games to go through.
Yeah, and also, to be perfectly honest, over the last, 8 seasons, Sixer fans have had playoffs every year. This is different. Maybe you just don't know how to act. It's been a while since you have had to react and respond to a season like this, games like this. for your favorite basketball team. When we come back, we'll get into some of the positives here tonight from this one, even in their loss, 126-112. They're now 21-40 on the season. The 76ers are through the 61 games, 21 remaining. Boston up next on Thursday. We'll talk about some of the good out of this one, though, as the Sixers fall once again, 126-112, here on the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. And I need to tell you, as more injuries just continue to pop up for this basketball team, I saw Jared Butler fall to the floor. I saw Jeff Doughton lay on the floor longer. These guys are aching joints and hands cramping and backs acting up and even groins right now. I keep telling them they got to go to Rothman Orthopedics every time something happens. This team is just piling up injuries, and Rothman Orthopedics is the place for them to go, practicing specialized care. And that has been their main passion for over 50 years. Their mission: high quality, compassionate, and affordable care rooted in research leading to new treatments and better outcomes. Overall, they are Rothman Orthopedics, and they specialize in you. It's not just the volume of 255,000 of the new patients and consults that Rothman is most proud of, but instead, it's their commitment to improving each of those patients' lives through their service and their care. Year over year, Rothman consistently performs among the highest volume of hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle replacements in the country at over 60,000. For more than 50 years, Rothman has participated in thousands of groundbreaking research and clinical trials with the goal of advancing knowledge, developing treatments, and improving outcomes for the benefit of their patients. I am one of them, and I can attest to it. So, Rothman Orthopedics, they specialize in orthopedics and they help me too. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today.
Guys, the weather's been a little bipolar around here these last few days, right? But on Saturday, on Friday, we had a couple warm days. We even had a nice afternoon today. You're probably reminded, man, spring's coming up. Summer's coming up. I'm going to be in the sun. I'm going to be outside. I'm going to be enjoying myself. Our friends at Shady Rays want to make sure that you are prepared to go outside, have a good time, but also protect your eyes, be able to see, and look stylish doing it. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And our friends are helping you get in the right frame of mind with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. There are so many colors available. You can find a pair that's perfect for you. I would say you can get them in your favorite basketball team's colors. I don't think you want to be associated with the Sixers right now, but they have all kinds of different great styles. We've worn them here on the set. I wear them. I have some in my car right now. I drove over here. I normally keep them in my house, and I wear them when I'm walking my dog during the day. Would wear them to the beach, wear them to happy hour. Wherever you go, Shady Rays have you covered. And if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair backed by lost or broken replacements. And if you don't love your shades, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them worry-free within 30 days. That's no-risk shopping when you shop with Shady Rays. PHLY viewers and listeners, go to shadyrays.com and save 35% off of polarized sunglasses with the code PHLY. Over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars, so use code PHLY today at shadyrays.com.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by, of course, Bet365, as we hang out with you here on this Tuesday night following the Sixers' 40th loss of the campaign. And we got to tell you about our new feature. We started it last night. Once again, we want to bring it back tonight to kind of give it to the folks and let you all know what it is. And that is taking a look at who's heating up or who's cooling off with our Ace Hardware temperature check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. And we decided, got to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves fourth quarter. Going into the final frame tonight against the 76ers, they had an 83-80 lead after a three-pointer was knocked down. I think it was Mike Conley at the end of the third. They proceeded to knock down 7 of their next 9 three-pointers in the fourth quarter and defeat the 76ers with the final score as we laid out, 126-112. But 43-32 in that frame, 81% from the field. And again, 7 for 9 from behind the 3-point line. I think that counts, Derek, as a heating up when the game was still in balance.
I do have a runner-up nomination for heating up, Joe, though. And that's Jacoby Walter, baby. He might have made just one of his previous 9 threes, but he made it when it counted.
You get 2. You get 2 for the heating up there tonight.
Jacoby Walter is on it. We have the beautiful graphic in the corner. He's the furthest over in the hot zone. That's that Jacoby Walter pull-up 3.
What about AJ Lawson?
Toronto. AJ Lawson with a big
you get a hat tip.
He pulled ahead.
Yeah, he pulled ahead,
and then Orlando tied it.
The nice thing about Mike Muscala when he got the Sixers Tyrese Maxey is he made both of those big threes. This one, we have to split the credit up a little bit. Unfortunately, Jacoby is going to be the one that you remember if that ends up mattering. But yes, that is a good Lawson with a big one as well.
Absolutely. So that is our looking at who's heating up, who's cooling off. We went with the heating up. The Toronto Raptors deciding to catch fire. The Minnesota Timberwolves deciding to catch fire.
But also the Toronto Raptors
catching fire there in that fourth quarter. 81% from the floor, 78% from 3 with 7 made threes, and hanging 43 on the Sixers defense to come out with the win over the Sixers there tonight for the Minnesota Timberwolves. That is our Ace Hardware temperature check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project.
Thank you, Ace Hardware. Appreciate that.
All right, now let's get to the other guy who was pretty hot. Could have probably given it to him too, but wanted to talk about him a little bit longer, and that is Quentin Grimes. Derek, with the night that he had, man, dropping another 30 in this one. He played overall 38 minutes and 30 seconds. He was 12 for 18. He's really efficient from the floor, and he was 3 for 7, so he missed 6 shots. 4 of them were from behind the 3-point line, and he got to the free throw line 3 times, dropped 30, picked up a couple of steals, 3 rebounds, 2 assists on the night. Again, showing that was a really good pickup at the trade deadline from Daryl Morey. Playing point guard, which is something that...
If only he was on a real team.
If only he was on a real team. Playing point guard in Maxey's place tonight. And while the assist numbers weren't necessarily there, he did put the scoring numbers up similar to what Maxey does. He's playing some really good basketball.
Playing some really good basketball and finding a unique way to contribute pretty much every night. You know, you acquired him and you said, well, as long as he is a 3-and-D guard, he will have an incredible role with this team. Well, he's showing that 3 and the D. Like you mentioned, 3 of 7 from 3-point
Pause.
range. 3 of 7 from 3-point range.
I was going to derail you that hard.
3 steals.
Pause.
He was getting his hand on a lot of balls throughout the night. That one was intentional only because he said
yes, it was.
Look at that. But no, he is finding a way to play defense.
Very mature.
Switch. He's fighting over screens.
Sometimes.
He's forcing turnovers. He's making shots. He's driving hard to the rim. He's going up.
Was he going to the hole?
He was drilling it.
Avoided that one. We need real basketball.
Oh my goodness!
So
sorry, I gotta keep myself, lucid in some way, right? Watching this team, so I apologize for derailing.
This is completely derailed. You can just go on. I'm done.
Turn it off. Come back, Nona. Sorry about that.
What I would say is that he is the first guy that they've had in quite a while that feels like a classic 2-guard, like an actual 2-guard, right? The league
in
now,
every sense.
And the league now is a lot of guys who are wings. Who you're slotting them in at essentially the 2, but it's not really a 2. This guy is a quintessential shooting guard, right? Like someone who is comfortable moving off the ball. You can use them in different spots, operate from the corner, operate from the wing, give them the ball up top. And it's not a lot of methodical dribbling back and forth. It's quick moves, first step, get to the basket, take a catch and shoot 3, take a pull up 3, turn the corner, shots there. I want it. And it just, it's very simple offense at its core, but he does a really good job, or has at least done a very good job of picking his spots and seizing on opportunities, right? Now, he's not going to shoot this well long term, right? This is just, he's off the baseball card type of numbers, right? This is just, you can't live up to this forever. The process is important to me, though, to see him. If he sees a guy who's going to go on a flyby, All right, cool. I'm going to the basket. Somebody's a little hesitant. They're counting their steps. So like, I don't want them to go by me. Cool. I'm going to rise up and shoot the three. Like,
And he's got a quick release.
he's got a quick release. He's got a high release because he's got good size and good release point, all that. And I think one of the things I've really been encouraged by recently is that I think on ball is where he had more of a reputation as a defender. He made some really good off ball plays tonight, like Reid's in help defense. There was a play in the first half where Gershon stood somebody up and had him stop. And Grimes had a really good just help get in there, knocks the ball away, sends him on a fast break the other way. And then he had another one a little bit later in the first half where he's just roaming and he's tracking his guy. Someone tried to back cut on him, picks it off, going the other way. I believe he had 3 steals by halftime tonight. I don't know if he ended up adding to that
They registered
in the
him
second
tonight
half,
with
but
3. Yep.
I think generally I've been happier with him as an off-ball defender than I expected coming in, because that was something when I talked to our pal Tim Cato at DLLS and just talked to people who had watched him or covered him with the Mavericks. There's a little bit of like, away from the play, he can drift and whatever, but he's been good so far, and I think it's a guy who clearly sees the opportunity that's in front of him, right? Because if they're going to shut down Paul George at some point, if Maxey gets shut down at some point, he will get minutes. He will get opportunities. He's getting reps as a true point guard, started as a point guard tonight. I'm not saying based on 20 games at the end of a lost season that he's going to make crazy money, but he can make himself a good amount of money here. If he can continue this the rest of the year, they're going to be put in a pretty difficult position, albeit with, RFA rights for him, but somebody might be able to, he might be able to squeeze a few more dollars out of them the way he's playing right now.
Based on both of your writing, what's probably a number where it's a walk away type situation when you look at what he has done? People have seen it, of course, in the league already that the guy can play, but in this spot, what just throwing it out there, just asking the question of like a walk away situation because he is playing so well, and if he keeps this going for the final 21 where he's playing this way, not 30 and not 44, but just showing some really good stuff out there.
Yeah. I'd have to think about it a little bit more.
Sure.
I think in large part because the NBA is changing so drastically with some of these aprons and all the rules and limitations around that what we thought of before is just different. Like in the past, I don't think you would necessarily blink at giving him like 15 million a year.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays it's so restrictive that I would have to think about it. I think when I was doing my initial calculations, I was thinking like 3 or 4 years starting point of like $9 to $10 million. That may have gone up a little bit.
Sure.
I'm not sure if it goes up that much though, because A, teams are concerned about giving role players big money, and B, he's restricted. So like even if he plays extremely well, I'm not sure it's going to shift his window of what he might get as much as people might think. But you always have to be worried. Like, yes, even if you can fit this under the books, and one of the key differences between Grimes and Yabu is signing Grimes with his bird rights will not hard cap you in the way that Yabu will. But even so, if the rest of the league is sort of drifting away from giving role players this kind of money, if you sign him and you ever have to move him or like even just aggregate his salary to move, make like a bigger trade, if that becomes a contract other teams are scared of, you don't want that. So it's, look, I right now I'd say the range is like 10 to 15.
Yeah.
But I have to think about that a little more to know where my walk away point is.
Yeah. And obviously you would, from the team perspective, you always want to hope to be on the lower end of that threshold, right? The way I would frame it is Yabu has been painted as this like big piece of their plans and what they're doing, and they want to have him back and blah, blah, blah. But like, let's just say his market is high based on earlier in the season. He plays well and he's helping them at least be competitive. A much, much higher priority on if you need to go a little
100%.
higher to keep Grimes and you lose Yabusele, that's an easy decision for me. You keep Grimes, you give him the extra money because he is a player that is an archetype that fits well with their guys, that it fits well in the way the league has gone. And one of the things I think we've seen with Yabu lately is like, is he just trapped between positions, right? It's like playing the small ball 5 has been good for stretches of this year because it juiced up the offense enough to justify it. but we can all see he cannot defend the 5 at a, closer to full-time level. Now, he shouldn't be asked to when Joel Embiid is here. But then you say, okay, well, if Joel Embiid's healthy and they have a real 5 and he's got to play the 4, what can he do there?
He also can't defend the 4.
He's got to be a lights out shooter, number one. But as Derek says, and just as importantly, he's got to be able to defend 4s. And in today's league, that's a lot of wings, right? It's a lot of times, just like there are guys masquerading as 2s, it's a lot of 3s masquerading as 4s. It's, when Boston plays, right? They don't play a ton of the double big configurations. It's a lot of like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum are the 3-4, and then you got like Drew Holiday and Derek White. So those are the types of guys that you're going to see. Or like Cleveland plays a 2-guard backcourt and they have a big front court, but once Allen or Mobley is out, then they're basically playing 2 or 3 wings and one of the guards, right? And so that's a lot of the Knicks, Mikal and OG a lot of times. And some of that's by necessity because Mitchell Robinson's been out and they've had to do some different things. I think Cat will eventually play some 4 there. But the way the league has gone, 4s have to be able to defend wings at least semi-competently. And I'm not super confident that Yabusele can do that. Now, I do still want to keep him. I do think it would be a good guy and piece to have on the team, but he's not so essential that I would be hemming and hawing over money with Grimes and like hard capping yourself to bring him back, I don't think.
And this really is where the CBA factors into so much of like how we're going to talk about him.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, is he worth this contract? Is he worth $7 million a year? Is he worth $8 million a year? It's, do you want to hard cap yourself to bring him back? It's really, it's a weird construct where like, depending on how a team signs you, depends on how much they're willing to give you that contract. Not just the money, but the mechanism to bring you back and whether or not that hard caps you. Because it is, like, especially, let's say Grimes does get that 15. Well, now all of a sudden you're going, well, I can't give Yabu more than like $6 or $7 million to bring him back and still stay under that first apron. So it can become, if Grimes outplays what you were expecting, it can become where you have to decide, do I want to bring back Grimes or Yabu? Not because you don't have a way to bring them both back, but because bring back Yabu does hard cap you. So it is like when we talk about Yabu, and I agree with Kyle, like he struggles to defend a 5 because he can't protect the rim and rebounding is an issue. He struggles to defend a 4 because he just doesn't have the lateral quick speed or foot speed or the ability to change direction. He's clearly a valuable player.
Yes.
And especially at the 5, like his offense is a real positive. We saw that with Maxey all season long. But if he has those defensive limitations, do you want to hard cap yourself and potentially lose Quentin Grimes to bring him back when he doesn't necessarily have a defined way to get 30 or 35 minutes? So I would love to have Yabu back. It just might get to the point where it's, all right, we can only use a taxpayer mid-level, which won't hard cap you. And if another team gives you more, we might just be out of luck.
If it was more like baseball where you just say, whatever, I just want to pay this guy, like, of course, bring him back because not only is he a useful player, I think he's a good locker room guy. He's not someone that when his role goes up and down that he's complaining to people. Like he's a great connector of people. Like he
great
is someone
interview, good in the locker room.
Someone you want on your team 100%. All I'm saying is that the way Grimes is played and at his age with his profile, I'm expecting him the number might go up a little bit. And so if you get put in that position because Grimes keeps putting pressure on you through his play, which is a good problem to have, by the way, if he's 100%. Able to play that way and sustain this. I'm not saying he's going to score 30 points a game, but if he's consistently scoring or if teams trap him and do whatever, and he had a nice playmaking night against Portland on Monday, if he does all that, great problem to have. You traded for a guy at the deadline that now is like a coveted player in free agency and in the offseason, but there may be some unforeseen effects and things that you have to think about with roster building.
Best case scenario player-wise for Grimes going into next season.
Especially with Maxey and McCain. Like, that's the beautiful thing is you can play. I know everyone is like all in on, they want to see as much Maxey and McCain as possible. I get that because those are the two. They were this year before McCain gets hurt. They're the shining stars of the season, right? Like it made people happy. It's exciting to watch. Play them as much as possible and all that. Well, Grimes allows you to play both of those guys lots of minutes and covers up some of their weaknesses, right? Like he can cover bigger guys. He can, even if it's not weaknesses, it's just, hey, Tyrese, instead of having to chase, Jalen Brunson around or Steph Curry around, we can give it to Quentin, and then you still have Kelly Oubre, you still have Paul George as a roamer. Like, you can do a lot of things because you have this guy on the roster now. It's a great problem, or not a problem. It's a great guy and a player to have alongside these two building blocks.
So quick answer before we go to break. I'll throw it at both of you. Best case scenario for him, good problem to have. Who is he going forward? Is he your starting two, or is he somebody that you look at as a six man?
I would start him. Now, I think you probably will get to the point if McCain, goes on the upward trajectory at a certain point, all players of a certain caliber are like, I want to be there.
Yeah.
And like it'll turn into a locker room politics thing. When I think for now, I would love to have Grimes in that spot. You have a little bit more size, a little bit more athleticism. McCain can come in early. You can spell Maxey early. We've seen McCain play with Joel Embiid, and we know what like that concept looks like. Again, even assuming Joel's going to play is a big step, right? So McCain can come in, play with Joel, gravitate off of him. Then you get the McCain Maxey minutes at the start of the second quarter. Like, there are a ton of different ways to go with it. But I would personally, in that scenario, probably start Grimes. But you could talk me into the other way for sure.
How about you?
I mean, a good thing is because there's 96 minutes between two guard spots, you're going to play all three of them starters minutes.
100%.
It's just what combination do you think works best to start the game? To answer that question, let me see how Jared looks next year. Like, he showed so much in the month or month and a half that he played, and he was improving so much day to day, much less week to week. I don't know what he's going to look like come October of next year. He could sit here because he's up, he's off his feet, like he's walking around now. He could come back and have added so much to his game that he might just answer that question for us.
Yep.
Theoretically, Grimes is the better defender. He's a more natural, pairing next to Maxey because of that. But I do think getting someone like McCain and his ability to, handle the ball and create and let Tyrese run a little bit off ball. We're talking about his shooting slump this year. What's he at for the season now? Low 30s? Like, he's real low in the 30s.
32 when I
like the
checked
worst
the other
shooting
day.
season since like his rookie season.
Yeah.
Getting him some easy shots, getting him some of those corner threes, getting him just having where the defense isn't locked in on him all the time would be huge. And I do think McCain has a chance to do that better than Grimes does.
Again, great problem to have for those two guards in particular next to Maxey. All right, when we come back, we'll give our play of the game, get to your super chats, wrap up the show with the roll call as well. And we'll do all that when we get back right here on the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365.
All right, first up, we want to tell you about Golden Nugget Jewelers. For the past 30 years, Golden Nugget Jewelers has operated out of the very same location in the heart of Philadelphia. Customers from across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and even Baltimore and New York City have come to Golden Nugget Jewelers to find that perfect engagement ring or wedding band. Their staff is highly trained and dedicated, providing a personalized shopping experience. Golden Nugget Jewelers has a vast selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, along with other high-end watches, fashion jewelry, and sparkling diamond necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and more. You receive a final cleaning and written appraisal with every engagement ring purchase. Golden Nugget Jewelers has been a family-owned and operated business since 1987, right there on Chestnut and 8th in downtown Philly. You deserve an expert and the best price. Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Visit goldennuggetjewelers.com today to learn more.
And tell you about Bet365, our presenting sponsor here on our show, as always. And earlier in the pregame, I'm not taking the blame for this one. Those Andre Drummond getting in foul
Never
trouble.
Gambling Gibbons' fault.
Hey, listen, 5 rebounds in like the first few minutes, and then he gets in foul trouble. He has to sit down. Anthony Edwards hurts his hand. He doesn't score as much. But hey, it's always available for you there at Bet365. Over 90 million users worldwide. Live streams of over 780,000 events each year. They have pioneered live in-game betting and early payouts across the NBA and the NHL. And with the games today on the Tuesdays, this is only on Tuesday, Bet365 has Tip-Off Tuesday, plays qualifying parlay bets totaling $20 or more on tonight's NBA games, on Tuesday's games, and you get up to $25 in bonus bets. Terms and conditions do apply. So if you enjoy the app, it's great. I have it here on my phone. That's why I tell you. When I tell you, I actually play it myself right there at Bet365. It's very easy, very, very easy to navigate on the app. Do so and make sure you sign up becoming a member again at PHLY 365 because new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Here it is again. Deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. We just talked so much about Quentin Grimes. Let's just tell you who the player of the game is tonight. That guy right there, Quentin Grimes.
Pretty dang good.
Hopefully you see him in the Sixers uniform for the next few years. He's been good. 33 for 7 from beyond, 67% overall from the floor, where he was 14 for 18 from the field. And just a tremendous, tremendous showing from him. 12 for 18, pardon me, from the field. And just a tremendous showing overall from Quentin Grimes. Player of the game, as always, on our show is brought to you by no one.
I stumbled onto some semi-developing news not related to anything, but I was excited about. Did you guys know Taco Bell this summer is bringing Baja Midnight Mountain Dew to all locations?
I did not.
Big news.
So what is the Baja Blast
is the current one.
That's the one my daughter likes.
Well, so it used to be exclusive to Taco Bell, where it was you could only get it there, but now they sell it in supermarkets, and it's kind of lost.
Not the same.
You lose the allure, right?
Yeah.
You got to draw people there. So now, big marketing development.
Taco Bell.
Baja Midnight.
Send those in.
We are down hard.
Buddy, I will eat every cheesy gordita crunch you send
Look,
me. So
I like Taco Bell too, but boy, whew.
Not a good idea for me.
Baja Midnight, baby. I'm in there. Day one, I'm in their release date. I'll be like, you remember when people used to camp outside of GameStop for video game releases at midnight? I remember sitting outside for Halo 3 way back in the day with my boys. I'm camping out for Baja Midnight.
I'll do the Baja Midnight if they bring that in, but I'll let you guys eat the chalupas and the tacos and all that stuff.
I don't know if this
you
is
guys
real.
know me.
There was a picture of it, and it was like a dark purple. And people were asking, what's the flavor? And I was like, it's purple. The flavor is purple. You ever seen the Chappelle bit where he's talking about purple drink?
Yes.
I want that purple stuff. Anyway, sorry for the segue.
Jay the Jungle says it sounds amazing. He's with you, Kyle. Brian Knight said Baja Blast is the greatest soda ever.
That's right.
Sign me up.
See,
Jay.
Bree found it. Look. That tastes like purple. You all know it. Look at that drink.
Kyle's like, no free promo except for Taco Bell and Mountain Dew.
Well, they are our new sponsor, right? Taco Bell, right? All right, cool. We'll send that out to you.
And then I'll do one for gut health right afterward.
Joe and Peace. Cheesy Gordita Crunch. All right.
A gentleman and a scholar suggesting that
Jess says quesadilla me please. So you got everybody in the same spot for you.
Right.
You're excited, they're excited.
PHLY Sixers meet up at the local
if you're
Taco
the sort
Bell.
of person who's watching a Sixers postgame show at 11:20 on a Tuesday night, you have probably indulged in some Taco Bell in the not too distant past. And I say that with the most respect I can give because I ride for Taco Bell.
Joe P says I'm drinking one right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Vince is out here trying to find like these really nice spots for us to do remotes. Just put us in the Taco Bell and we're good
Give
to
me
go.
some purple stuff. That's what I want.
Right on City Line, baby. Put us up right on City Line, man. Go to the Taco Bell, do the show from there. Hey, maybe our player of the game will be presented.
If there's a player of the game, it's Baja Midnight.
It's Baja Midnight. All right, let's get to these super chats, Bree. Who we got in here? Holy cannoli. I'd rather have injured Caleb Martin right now. Grimes is giving me anxiety with tankathon aspirations and outplaying our ability to retain him. Holy cannoli.
I won't say how many times we were like, they might have to shut Quentin Grimes down during the game. But look, if it was a season that mattered, this would have been a huge move, right? Like if they, I know we're if ifs and buts were chips and nuts, whatever. But if Joel's healthy, if Maxey's healthy, if PG's healthy, and they have a whole team, you could honestly see it being a version of when Dallas traded for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford last year, and that really gave them, they had Luka, right? They had Kyrie. They had a lot of guys. They had talent there, But getting those, that 1 or 2 extra players at the
Yep.
deadline, that's the type of move that helps push a team from you're good, right? And you're like a good playoff team to you got a real chance to go on a run or something. So if he was playing like this and everyone else was actually doing their jobs, boy, they'd be cooking with gas.
Yeah.
No, and it really does. And that's why, look, we sat here and we nitpicked Eric Gordon and Reggie Jackson and Kyle Lowry. And look, they were frustrating in part because they were very predictable. Like we complained about that before the season started, and we were right. You can focus on that and hyper-focus.
We won't talk about when we were wrong.
We'll do that at the end of the season.
We did an entire show with predictions, buddy. We have some of them out there.
We'll have some predictions for the playoffs that just won't involve the Sixers. We'll do those too.
When you add in McCain and Yabu and now Grimes, like they overachieved on the role players and what they had to work with, but it doesn't matter when 2/3 of your stars are basically no-shows. It's really that simple.
Look, going forward, man, first of all, the Final 21, we still want to see somebody that pops in this particular scenario, and he's doing so. So Daryl Morey hit on that one. And then you also look at, man, whether he starts or comes off the bench, sometimes with those teams, you need somebody with some irrational confidence at times that can just flat out go
100%.
off when the other three have it or they're seeing the extra double teams and things of that nature. This guy can go off. He's going to have those where he's streaky and he doesn't play well. But when he has it, he has it. And the one thing that we haven't mentioned, which we kind of started the show off on, when we're looking at the starting 5 and where he fits in, McCain or Grimes or Yabusele coming off the bench, he didn't even incorporate the fact that they might have a young top 6 pick player on their roster to be a part of that depth as well that would look pretty darn good in the Sixers uniform. So you would hope that they hit on that. They got it right with Jared McCain. Adem Bona looks like he can play also. Mm-hmm. They're doing well with Justin Edwards, picking up these guys off of the undrafted pool. So putting those right players around those stars, especially when you see 2 of them kind of going in the wrong direction just a little bit, you need some of these other ones to step up in those roles.
Speaking of top 6 picks, you guys see Cooper Flagg the other night? Oh, boy. 28, 8, and 7 with 2 steals, 3 blocks, and 3 3-pointers made.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't mind spending a couple months talking about him.
Well, now the stuff is out there of does he want to stay at Duke?
Don't worry about that.
Little NIL money.
But that doesn't compare to what he's going to get. Not only because, like, when people always talk about this, it's not just what you're turning down next season, which would be like $11.5 million.
It's getting to the next contract.
To that super max contract, that 30% max, which is almost definitely lined up for him. He's not going to turn that down.
Let's be clear here. I say that.
Yeah.
If a great white hope gets drafted at number 1, the endorsement deals are 100%. The people are going to be throwing money at this.
First
kid.
of all, he's already got New Balance, so
That's
he's good there.
He's
the face.
If you just really don't want to play for
Tyrese.
If you don't want to play for the Washington Wizards, like I get it, bro. Like I understand.
But it's
like,
your
he's
team.
a kid but buddy, go to the NBA.
Yeah.
There is no second thought. Get the NBA.
Talking
money.
about this in Discord. Boy, you should have seen Devon. He was very.
I was on fire, man.
The last projected number 1 pick to not come out, I think it might have been Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
That's 30 years.
That's a long time
Doesn't
ago,
happen.
boy. That's a long time ago.
This isn't like he could go number 1. Like, no,
right,
he's
it's
the number 1 pick.
definitive
Yeah.
one because there have been some guys that have been like, oh, that's probably a top 5 pick.
Right.
Like Marcus Smart was in the mix and he came back another year, right?
Yeah.
And then Perry Jones, I think, was another one.
Baylor.
And then he
was
really
tough in
fell.
college.
He was like, he's going to go top 3 or he's in the mix.
And then when
there.
when he went to OKC, I'm like, damn, they did it again. Because Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook was still there. I'm like, damn, they did it again.
Yeah.
Not so much. No.
But
the reason why was because they want to go to Washington or the Hornets. Of course, according to the reports that are out there. We don't know if they're true or not. But it did send one of the best tweets of the day out there.
If I'm a player, I leak that I'm interested in staying in college because it's good for your brand, but no way are you doing it.
And then it was a great tweet that followed where the guy said, he was a Hornets fan. He said, don't worry, buddy. We'll be bad again next year. We can play this game all day.
That's too good.
That's good. Skunk Riley.
Am I up? Am I reading the haiku?
You're up.
Skunk Riley says, this haiku is titled, Sign Him. Grimes' haunting talent. Echoes in the darkness. Moonlight's gentle kiss. Wouldn't that have sounded better with Devon's radio voice? Hearing Devon say "Moonlight's gentle kiss." Definitely better than my hoagie mouth. Should
I reread it?
I'm the haiku guy on the show.
All right, you're right. Except for when you're not here, because we did have him last
Well, there is nobody who's embraced a bit more than Skunk has embraced the haiku stuff.
We have an entire haiku channel in the Discord.
And he's in there now.
That he is in.
I'm pretty sure he didn't join that Discord to talk to you or I. He just wanted a place to drop his haikus, which I get. They're awesome.
Perfect.
They are awesome. Moonlight's gentle kiss. Perfect. All right, Vince Pellegrini. What up, Vinny? Purple will be a staple in office going forward.
Buddy, just get us water consistently. That's all I ask.
We have a lot of water right now, Vince. I'm very appreciative of that because sometimes.
So am I, but it's been a year and a half and it hasn't really been all that consistent.
But I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Vinny. Speaking of purple, the Purple Heart is back, Derek.
It is.
No longer the broken heart.
Hello, Jess.
The season really went off the rails when that heart switched to blue.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But it's back. It's back.
Yeah, well,
especially with the theme tonight. This is solely for Kyle and his love for the upcoming Baja Midnight.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
I hope it's good. After all this build-up now, we spent like the last 10 minutes of the show talking about Baja Midnight. If it's bad, I feel like if we're talking about Cooper Flag's brand, my personal brand is going to go to the toilet.
Heavily tied to, yep.
Oh, man. All right. We also saw Daryl Morey. The fake Daryl Morey in the chat. Or is he real? We don't know. If you squint, we're still in the championship hunt. Please buy tickets.
Please buy tickets.
There you have it.
Daryl's like the guys who are down at the stadiums before they go, hey, I got two. I got two in section 208.
Let's get to the Tank Watch, Bree. And let's see what we have here with the Tank Watch. We'll get to the best for last. Let's save the best for last. But first up, Spurs, Nets. It was fun while it lasted. 127-113 Spurs.
And the Spurs winning isn't terrible.
Yeah.
It creates a little, I think they're like Portland, 5 wins ahead
it's in
now.
that Portland area somewhere. So that's one. Then you also had, who was the other
Cleveland
one?
had an easy win over Chicago.
Yep. And we're still waiting to find out with LA and New Orleans. So we'll get to the big one of the night.
Jacoby Walter, baby. I always believed in you.
Let's run that video, Bree, because Jacoby Walter was he was, as you guys said, he was on the heat check part of the Ace hardware. Yeah, he was on the heat check.
As red gets on this ATO.
First it was AJ Lawson, and then after Paolo makes some free throws.
Pull up. Bang!
He had no room, too.
Zero room.
I cannot believe that.
And Devon was convinced on first watch. Grant, he was on an off angle. He's like, was that a 2? Was that a 2?
I was like, there's no way.
And they go to the table, and we were all like doing the Tiger Woods at Augusta on the 12th hole on a Sunday, just fist pump.
The doubt was never there, Jacoby. And we appreciate you. We appreciate
That's
you.
That's a big one. That was a big one.
Yes.
They're what, now one game behind the Sixers?
Yeah.
Big one.
Yeah.
Now they're still back in the loss column, I believe. The Sixers are back of them, but they are only 1 win ahead. So it's
those 2 games, Sixers Raptors, are going to be huge.
Huge. Both this month.
Huge.
One next week, and then the one last game of the month in the month of March. All right, let's get ready because, by the way, they have the Jazz at home coming up on later in the week. That will be on Friday. The Utah Jazz take on the Toronto Raptors.
I will say the one thing I'm concerned about real quick, because I know you got to get to it. They sat all of their starters in the fourth quarter. They are in-game tanking very hard, and unless Nick gets his head out of his you-know-what, it's going to be tough to compete with
the fact that it was Jacoby Walter taking the shot tells you a lot.
Here's what I will say, though. After Utah, first of all, they have 4 games at home. Utah Friday, Saturday home Washington, Monday home Washington.
Oh!
And then the Sixers next Wednesday at home. So that's their next 4. And then they go on a 4-game road trip at Utah.
Get my Canadian citizenship if they manage to save the Sixers season.
Make sure you guys go and sign up to become a diehard member. You can read the good, the bad, the ugly, the recap from Kyle after the games, Derek's stories, Kyle's other stories as well. Same with the Eagles. The Flyers, they played tonight as well. And baseball, it's back. So you can check out Jim Salisbury writing at allphly.com. Go sign up, become a member, take advantage of the $48 for the first year, $4 a month. You become a member. You get a free t-shirt. Join the Discord. Check us all out in the Discord. I'm in there at allphly.com. Let's get to the world famous roll call.
Yeah, buddy. All right. I always forget him, so I'm making sure he goes first.
What up,
tonight.
Jay?
My guy, Jay of the Jungle, hanging here, also hanging in the Discord. You the man. But also, thank you to many of our wonderful people for hanging out tonight. To SB Cole, the PHLY guy who gave us a little round of applause with the
Appreciate
emojis. Thank you, buddy.
PHL. What up, PHL?
T. Harris hanging out.
What up, T?
Kyle Wright hanging out. Jess with the purple art hanging out and giving us super chats. Yams Colangelo and Daryl Morey in a battle to kill one another. Mostly Yams trying to kill Daryl. Buddy, step back from that ledge, as Third Eye Blind said once upon a time. John Peace. Peace. Mellow 3-point. Thank you for hanging out with us. Vince.
What up, Vinny?
Saw him earlier. A nice late departure for him from work tonight. He's always working hard, and he's still here with us.
And
checking in on the shows tonight.
And the purple in the office going forward.
Hey, you get some
Yeah,
Baja
we'll see.
Midnight. We'll be
You're not buying it?
I'll
boy,
believe it when I
we'll
see
be
it.
cooking.
Give me
We
some
got
grape Kool-Aid.
Vince is good at a lot of things. I
We
will
got
believe that purple drink
X-Man.
when I
We
see
got
it.
Brian
What up,
Knight.
X?
I know we had my girl Winona in here. I know we had Val in here. I think she might have gone to bed.
They
She
bailed
gave us
out once we got into the other conversation.
the purple stuff.
No, the one earlier.
Oh.
The drilling.
Mom's grandchildren was still with us. Thank you, Mom, for
That
hanging
was
out.
your fault, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Oh boy,
my bad.
it's okay to laugh. Is with us tonight.
Sixers after dark.
My friend,
It is
you
late.
could not be more correct. Evan Davis hanging out with us.
What up, Ev?
Vic hanging out. Cannoli
Holy
flossed
cannoli.
over. All right, I think that's probably
Yeah,
Igavini, Tycoon,
Hi, Gavini. What up?
Sean C. That's as far as I can scroll.
What up, Sean?
Ladies and germs. Thank you, everybody who was here and still is here. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can get notifications each and every time we go live. And if you hit the thumbs up button, you already know it's a thank you to super producer Bree, who's here throwing up the funny graphics, making sure the
Thank you,
videos
Bree.
run smoothly,
Putting up with all
hitting
of our
the transitions, doing the real work while we sit in these chairs and just yap about Mountain Dew and the Sixers for an hour,
And
5
drilling.
days a week. We love y'all. We'll be back. We're here tomorrow, right?
3
Yep,
o'clock
3
tomorrow.
3 o'clock tomorrow. My days are mixed up.
Shout out
so.
Jacoby Walter.
Oh, also, shout out to my guy Kyle from Australia. Another Kyle,
what up, Kyle?
who came through yesterday. Went to the game with him. I'm wearing this Brisbane Lions hat.
Nice hat.
The AFL champions, by the way. Shout out to my guy Kyle. Shout out to everybody else. We're out.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.